In different ways, great players marked their names in the history of Manchester City and became idols. In this video, I will show the 10 players who became Manchester City idols. But first, subscribe to the channel and turn on notifications. Francis Lee. Francis Lee arrived at Manchester City in 1967. The former striker played a decisive role in the Premier League title in the 1967-1968 season. In addition, Lee was one of the protagonists of the final of the extinct European Cup in 1970. With a penalty goal in the first half, the Englishman contributed to Manchester City's first and only European victory. Until November 2013, Lee was the most scored player in Manchester Derby, with 10 goals. However, Wayne Rooney took that point when he scored his 11th goal against the Citizens. Nicknamed Lee One Pen because of his reputation for falling easily inside the area, the former striker was also the king of penalties. In the 1971-1972 season, 15 of the 35 goals scored in the season were on the white mark. Lee is the 7th highest scorer in City's history with 148 goals. Yaya Touré. Yaya Touré is the first of Manchester City's recent idols on our list. The Ivorian arrived in the summer window of the 2010-2011 season, signed from Barcelona. In his first year at Manchester City, the midfielder made history. The former number 42 shirt was one of the protagonists of the 2011 FA Cup title. With goals in the semi-final against Manchester United and in the final against Stoke City, Touré led City to the FA Cup title. Yaya Touré's success remained almost entirely for the Citizens. The 20 goals scored in the 2013-2014 Premier League made the Ivorian appear in the championship selection by the Professional Players Association, PFA. Later that year, the midfielder was named City's best player of the season. However, with the arrival of Pep Guardiola, the former number 42 lost space in the starting lineup and left the club at the end of the 2017-2018 season. In all, there were 316 games, 79 goals scored and 7 titles won, 3 of which in the Premier League. Mike Summerbee. After 6 years standing out at Swindon Town, the club that projected him in football, Mike Summerbee arrived at Manchester City in 1965. The successful passage in the Citizens was mainly due to the fact that he won 4 titles between 1968 and 1970. Summerbee was one of the highlights of the team that contributed to City's title in the English Second Division in 1965-1966. The title in the First Division came 2 seasons after access, in 1967-1968. The former player was still present in the FA Cup and European Cup victories. The former striker's stint ended in 1975, when he moved to Burnley. In 10 years at Manchester City, Summerbee defended the club's shirt on more than 400 occasions. The Englishman is in the select group of players who played the most with the Citizens shirt. David Silva. Conductor of the team since his arrival at the club, the presence of David Silva in our list of Manchester City idols is inevitable. The Spaniard arrived in 2010 and has been a significant figure at the club ever since. Soon after his arrival, Silva was present in the 2011 FA Cup victory. In addition, he was the player who gave the pass that resulted in Yaya Touré's goal in the decision. The midfielder maintained regularity on the field in the years he defended the Citizens shirt, being a key part of the club's achievements in the decade. In those 10 years at the club, Silva won 14 cups, 4 of them in the Premier League and 2 in the FA Cup. In addition, shirt 21 was instrumental in Manchester City's 3rd championship in the English League Cup. So far, there are 428 games, 75 goals scored and 137 assists distributed. Without a doubt, David Silva is one of the greatest players in the history of the Citizens. Billy Meredith. Known as the Welsh Wizard, Billy Meredith was football's first superstar and will feature on our list. The Welsh Wizard arrived at Manchester City in 1894. Certainly, his first season with the Citizens was a success. The striker was the team's top scorer in his first year at home and took the captain's belt the following season. At just 21 years old, Meredith was already captain of Manchester City. The former striker was an important figure in the club's accession in 1898-1899 to the First Division. In addition, Meredith was the scorer of City's goal in the 1903-1904 FA Cup final against Bolton Wanderers. This would be the club's first significant national title. The superstar's tenure at Manchester City would come to an end in 1906. After being accused of attempting to bribe Alex Leake, an Aston Villa player, he was removed from the team. After the controversy, Meredith signed with Manchester United, a club in which he remained for 15 years and returned to City in 1921, aged 46. His second spell lasted until 1924. Surprisingly, the player achieved the feat of being the oldest player to play for the Citizens shirt, at 49 years and 245 days. In addition, it is worth noting that Meredith is the 5th top scorer in the club's history, with 153 goals. Vincent Kompany. Vincent Kompany arrived at Manchester City in the lean years, but remained until the most successful period in the club's history. The defender arrived in 2008, at just 22 years old. The former number 4 shirt was one of the highlights in winning the club's first Premier League. In a Manchester Classic, the defender scored the goal that put the Citizens at the top of the table, with 2 games remaining in the championship. Kompany still had a rare moment of happiness 7 years later. From outside the area, the Belgian hit a shot against Leicester City and the Citizens won 1-0. On that occasion, that victory left the English title of the 2018-2019 season very close. Certainly, injuries hindered the defender's passage at Manchester City, but that doesn't change the fact that he is one of the club's great idols. In all, there were 360 games and 12 titles won. Bert Trautmann. Eastern Front paratrooper during World War II and prisoner of war, Bert Trautmann is one of the more curious and controversial figures on the list. During the war, the former goalkeeper was transferred to the Western Front and was imprisoned by the British. After serving his sentence, Trautmann refused German repatriation and settled in Lancashire as a farmer and goalkeeper for the St. Helens town. With good performances in the team, he was hired by Manchester City in 1949. When he arrived at the club, he was under pressure to replace Frank Swift and generated great dissatisfaction among the fans due to his military history. Manchester City fans threatened to boycott the team's games and sent protest letters to the club. The highlight of Trautmann's football career was in 1956. In the FA Cup final that year, the goalkeeper suffered a shock to the neck and dislocated 5 vertebrae in the region. As substitutions were not allowed at the time, the German remained on the field until the final whistle and was a decisive figure in winning the FA Cup. In 1964, after 15 years at the club, Trautmann announced his retirement from the pitch. Alan Oakes. The only silver on the list, Alan Oakes would certainly be present. The midfielder joined the team in 1959, but only reached the professional squad the following year. In addition to being part of the team that featured Francis Lee, Mike Summerbee and Colin Bell, Oakes achieved the feat of playing in more games with the Manchester City shirt. According to the club's official website, there were 680 games during the team's 17 years. With titles in the English First and Second Division, FA Cup, English League Cup and European Cup, Oakes made his farewell to the Citizens against Manchester United. The match took place at Old Trafford in May 1976. Subsequently, the midfielder closed with Chester. Colin Bell. Considered by many to be the greatest player in Manchester City's history, Colin Bell joined the club in 1966. Bell partnered with Francis Lee and Mike Summerbee to form the greatest attacking trio in the club's history. However, the midfielder's career came to a tragic end. In 1975, when he was just 29 years old, Bell clashed with Manchester United's Martin Buchan and suffered a serious knee injury. The Englishman only returned to the pitch in 1977, but he was unable to continue and had to end his career prematurely 2 years later. Partnering with George Best, Bell attempted to resume his career in 1980 with the San Jose Earthquakes. However, there were only 5 matches played by the North American club. In 2004, after a vote among the fans, one of the sectors of the City of Manchester Stadium, also currently called the Etihad Stadium, was named Colin Bell Stand in honor of the player. Bell is the Citizens' 4th leading scorer with 153 goals scored. Sergio Aguero. Finally, obviously Sergio Aguero would be present in the list of Manchester City's idols. Signed from Atletico de Madrid in July 2011, the Argentine has been a prominent figure since his first year on the English pitch. The first feat Cohen Aguero achieved in England was his last-minute goal against Queen's Park Rangers. In the last round of the Premier League of the 2011-2012 season, City needed to win to become English champions, a title they hadn't won in 44 years. The Argentine star shone and the striker scored the title goal in stoppage time. From that day forward, Aguero would certainly be present in Manchester City's history. The record-breaking journey continued. In November 2017, in a Champions League match, Aguero scored against Napoli and became the all-time leading scorer in the Citizens' history. In addition, the Argentine took over from Thierry Henry as the top foreign scorer in the Premier League, with 180 goals scored. In 9 years at the club, Aguero has hit the net 254 times in 370 games. We've reached the end of the video. Leave your comment on what you think of these 10 players.